I remember, I think this happened in December of 2017. It was a very hot and humid day. I remember that year, summer started pretty early, and it was just scorching hot every day. And I've never been a fan of the summer season. I remember since I was a kid, the 4 years that I spent in Japan, I've noticed that I've felt very comfortable during the autumn season. Something about the cool climate, especially the cool, dry breeze, that really put me at ease. Anyway, this one particular afternoon, I think it was after 5 p.m., my two friends and I were in a car. I remember it was a dark red Volkswagen Golf, something like that. So one of my friends was driving it. It was his car at the time, and the top was down. And we were headed towards a restaurant for dinner. And of course the sun was setting, and that particular day was very hot and actually very humid as well, which was kind of rare. So I was just very uncomfortable the whole day, just trying to stay cool at home with the AC on and stuff, but it was just very uncomfortable. And I've never been a fan of that kind of climate. Anyway, so we were headed towards this restaurant. I was seated in the front in the passenger seat, and the top was down, and it was really cooling down finally at that point. And I remember feeling the cool breeze. Although it was still humid, at least it was cool. I remember the breeze going through my hair, and I was just so relieved and so relaxed. That ride definitely put me at ease. I was really enjoying that ride, that cool feeling. And something came over me, and I felt as though I shifted into a trance-like state. And what happened afterwards was that I'm not sure what possessed me to do this, but I felt as though I had to look up at the sky. And so that's what I did. I looked up at that amber sky, and I've always been a fan of sunsets and the golden hour, and it was so beautiful. And I was just looking up at that sky, and again I was enjoying the breeze, and then suddenly something flew across the sky very fast. And the only reason why I know that this happened was because it left a white smoke-like trail behind it. Now, I didn't see the craft. Now, I say craft because I did not see an airplane. I did not see a helicopter. Something flew across the sky really, really fast. But it made absolutely no noise. And I was waiting for that noise because, as we all know, the speed of sound is much slower than the speed of light. But I just kept looking up at it, just gazing at it, waiting for that sound, that noise to come. Because maybe it was an airplane somehow. even though airplanes don't fly that fast. And there was no noise. You know, looking back at that moment, I think that if I wasn't in this trance-like state, I would have probably reacted. I would have been surprised at least, or shocked. That sight would have given me a jolt. But since I was in this trance-like state, I remember saying to myself in my mind, wow, well, that's interesting. I wasn't shocked at all. But I was just enjoying that sight. Now, for a split second, I did think about not notifying my friend who was driving the car, but at least telling our friend who was seated in the back about what I was seeing. But then I thought to myself, if I was to turn around to let him know, to tell him to look up, and I looked back up again, it would be gone. And then I would look like a crazy person. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to tell them anything. I'm just going to continue to watch this trail, because it is something that I've never seen before. A white smoke-like trail. A strange contrail. But it wasn't an airplane. As I continued to look up at this trail, I watched it slowly dissipate, and it eventually disappeared. It left no trace. And once it did that, I slowly lowered my head to look forward again. And I was still in somewhat of a trance-like state, I guess. That state didn't switch off for me, but I was still in it. It wore off slowly. That was a strange thing to witness, but it was beautiful at the same time. Something quite mysterious. You know, I've noticed since I was a kid, again, I have always enjoyed the cool climate. I've never been a fan of summer. Spring is fine. Winter, well, if I have enough clothes on and there's snow, then I guess all that cold and shivering is worth it. But the autumn season, I have always loved the cool climate. And sometimes during the autumn season in Australia, where I live, when I feel that, I do feel myself change, my mood changes, or as they say nowadays, our frequency, our vibration changes. I'm much more cool and calm and relaxed. So now, as I attempt to analyze, to guess what happened that afternoon, what really happened? Why is it that I'm such a fan of the autumn season or the cooler climates? It was just so relaxing, but so much so that it put me, or should I say, I chose to shift myself into that trance-like state. And what possessed me to look up at that sky? I've always liked, again, sunsets in the golden hour. Amber is a warm color. I've always loved that. So did I just look up at the sky because it was that time of the afternoon? Yeah, that makes sense. But then what did I see What flew across the sky that quickly? It wasn't an airplane or a helicopter. I didn't see the craft. So how could the craft be invisible or seem invisible, but leave such an obvious white smoke-like trail? What's going on there? Is there a correlation, a relationship? It was almost as if the occupants, the beings, let's call them, on that craft knew of my whereabouts. So as I looked up, it was almost as if it was an invitation for me to witness that they were there. Or could it be that if I'm in that state, that very calm, relaxed, trance-like state, that I become more capable of seeing what's already there, but it's invisible to me, usually because I'm not in that state. In this case, so far in my life, I can use my natural, I'm not sure what to call it, liking, desire, yearning, longing, attraction to cooler climates. Can I use that as a catalyst, as a reason or an excuse to put myself in that state, to shift myself in that state so that I could better see those types of interesting things that are already around us more frequently? It's been several years since 2017, and I'm still not quite sure what happened. And to this day, I have not told those two friends of mine what I saw, because I know they're not the type to believe in those things. So I kept it to myself. But what a beautiful memory. I look back on that moment every now and then, because so far I've had very interesting dreams, but that's during my sleep, during my dream state. But things like that have not occurred to me that frequently yet. So I am grateful. I wonder, other than using cooler climate as a way to be in that state, are there other ways for me to shift myself into that kind of being, in that state of being? I wonder how many other ways there are for me to shift myself into that calm, relaxed, trance-like, or maybe even meditative state. I guess only time will tell. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. More videos are in the works. Till next time.